Republican women and independent women, Democratic women, men that really want to see their daughters succeed in life. And you know what was really exciting for me personally this year? My oldest daughter, Julia, just posted on her Facebook page and tweeted it out a couple of weeks ago. She's 19 years old, and this is her first election that she'll be able to vote in. She's in college out of state, so she got her vote-by-mail ballot and sent it in. And how inspirational for women all across this country that we're going to elect the first female president of the United States. I see some of my interns back here, too. It's not just the fact that Hillary is going to be the first female president. It's the fact that she supports all of us working together, whether that's lifting the economy, creating better paying jobs, providing for equal pay for equal work. Who's going to fight for equal pay for equal work? Hillary or Trump? Of course, Hillary Clinton. Who's going to make sure that we keep Medicare and Social Security strong for this generation and the next generation? It's going to be Hillary Clinton. Who is going to set a better example? Someone that treats everyone with respect, no matter who they are, no matter who they love, no matter what they do, no matter where they're from. It will be Secretary Hillary Clinton. So, like I said, we've got a lot of responsibility here in the Tampa Bay area. So I want to see a show of hands. Who has voted already? All right. All right, and let's embarrass the folks who have not voted. Who hasn't voted? All right, I'm hearing from a lot. Oh, come on. All right. I'm hearing from a lot of folks. They're like, I like to wait till Election Day. I like to be part of the Democratic experience and go on Election Day. All right. That is all well and good. But what if something happens? What if you misplace your keys? What if your son or daughter has an accident and you can't get there? What if you stub your toe? You've got to go to the ER. You got to get there. Let me tell you, this is an election where you've got to go ahead and vote early. It's never been easier in the state of Florida. In Hillsborough County, the polls are open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. Every day is Election Day here in the Tampa Bay area. And if that vote-by-mail ballot is still sitting on your desk, I know there's some of you that raise your hand. You say, I haven't voted yet. Fill that thing out. Now, here's what you got on that ballot, because it's long, and it's good to vote by mail. And you can still call Craig Latimer's office or the supervisor's office and get that vote-by-mail ballot, because it's a couple pages. So you've got Hillary at the very top, right? You're not going to miss that one. Okay. Then you've got the U.S. Senate race, and that's Patrick Murphy, right? All right, then you work your way down, and there's a congressional race on the ballot here in Tampa, and I would appreciate your vote for Kathy Castor for Congress. We've got another race across the bay with Charlie Crist, going to take a Democratic seat. Then we have some fabulous legislative candidates, and we need greater balance in Tallahassee to create jobs, to unleash a clean energy future, to provide for our public schools. So one big race here in Tampa is Bob Busing versus Dana Young. And I'll tell you, Bob Busing would be a gift to this state. Do you know he's going to donate his salary to the YMCA if he's elected? Fight for us, stop fracking. And then we've got these other fantastic legislative races. If you live out in the Brandon area, Rena Frazier is your candidate. If you live in North Tampa, Lisa Monteleone is your candidate. If you live South Tampa, Town and Country, David Singer for the State House is fabulous. Take these races seriously and be sure you vote down the ballot. And one more. Don't forget to get to the constitutional amendments, right? What is the vote on Amendment 1? I want to hear it. 1, 2. It's very deceptive. And if we're going to create jobs, tackle the changing climate, unleash the solar potential of the state of Florida, we've got to vote no on Amendment 1 to protect consumers. But today is for Hillary Clinton. And I know you're going to give her a warm welcome, Tampa. This is the best place to be. Take your responsibility seriously. Vote early and bring your friends. Thanks, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Mayor of Tampa, Bob Buckhorn.
Are you fired up or what? This isn't church, folks. This is a campaign rally. Are you fired up, Tampa? We're bringing the birthday girl here. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to paraphrase Alicia Keys. That girl is on fire. It's good to see you, and welcome to the most exciting city in America. I want you to turn around and look at this amazing place. Look at this city that is bursting at the seams with talent, with energy, with hope. You heard Kathy Castor just a little while ago talk about who we are. We are a community that was settled by Spanish, Cuban, and Italian immigrants who came to America to roll cigars. This is a city that understands what diversity is. This is a city that recognizes that we are better together, that we are stronger together, that we are more competitive together. If you could see the audience that I see, you look like America. In all of the amazing shades and ethnicities and genders, and let me tell you something, folks. In my city, in your city, in Hillary's America, we don't demonize anybody based on race or creed or color or ethnicity or the God you worship or who you love. We just don't do it, Tampa. That's not our city, and that is not Hillary's America. We don't peddle fear. We peddle hope. We don't build walls. We build bridges. We don't divide America. We unite America. We raise America. We lift America. We bring America together. Now, I got to tell you, the road to the White House runs through Tampa, Florida. Don't ever think that, well, your being here and what you've been doing for the last 6 months doesn't make a difference, because it does. We need to be there for Hillary Clinton in 2 weeks. We need to stand up and say we've had enough of Donald Trump. Donald Trump's America is not our America. Donald Trump's vision of America is not our vision of America. Ours is a hopeful America. Ours is a gracious America. Ours is a grateful America. Ours is America that is stronger and better together, not dividing one another based on any reason whatsoever. So I got to tell you this, and I want you to remember this. It wasn't that long ago that I heard a candidate talk about hope. I heard a young man talk of hope and his vision for this country. And he talked about that one voice that can change a conversation. And that one voice, if you change a conversation, you can change a neighborhood. And if you can change a neighborhood, you can change a city. And if you can change a city, that one voice can change a state. And if you can change a state, that multitude of voices can change a nation. That young man became the President of the United States, and it's our job. It's our job to make sure that this country hears our voice on behalf of Hillary Clinton, our voice for standing up for what is right, what is good, what is just, what makes us America. That's your voice. So the choice for you is simple. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you going to spend the next 2 weeks making sure that Hillary Clinton is the next President of the United States? I'm sorry, Tampa, I didn't hear you. That wasn't good enough. Are we going to send Marco Rubio back from the job he hates that he never showed up for? Are we coming for Rick Scott and Adam Putnam and Pam Bondi and Atwater in 2018? Tampa, Florida, the road to the White House runs through you. Are you ready? Let's go get her done. And I know this. There's a young lady, not far, Hillary. Tampa, Florida. She's back there. She can hear you. She can hear you, Tampa, Florida. But what I want from you, I want the loudest happy birthday song this next President of the United States has ever heard. How about it, Tampa? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Come on, Tampa. All right. If this wasn't the president's mic, I'd drop the mic. It's over.
Please welcome to the stage Academy Award-nominated actress Angela Bassett.
Tampa! How's everybody doing? Yeah! My name is Angela Bassett, and it is great, so great to be here with you today. You know, I may have been born in New York, but I grew up right here, not too far from here, right over in St. Petersburg, Florida. Any St. Pete folk in the house? All right, it's so good to be home, so good. You know, while growing up in Florida, I was raised by a single mother who worked as a social worker and a civil servant. My mother, she was a strong woman. She encouraged my sister and I to work hard in school. She emphasized that education was the key to our future, and she encouraged us never to settle for average, but to excel in all aspects of life. Now, over the course of my acting career, I've had the opportunity to portray the lives of strong women, such as Tina Turner, Betty Shabazz, Coretta Scott King, and Rosa Parks. These women were fearless. They were dedicated. They were groundbreakers, and they paved the way for future generations. And we are here today to hear from another strong woman, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Like my mother, Hillary understands that all children, regardless of zip code or background, deserve the opportunity to succeed in this great country. All children deserve access to a quality education and to affordable health care. From her time with the Children's Defense Fund to her work across the aisles to help create the Children's Health Insurance Plan program, Hillary has never stopped fighting for our families and for our children. And just like the women that I've played on film, Hillary is a trailblazer, and in 13 days, she will be a glass breaker. Oh, yes, she will. Oh, yes, she will. Hillary has worked her whole life to help break down barriers that hold people back. And while she has worked tirelessly in communities that have been left out and left behind for too long, her opponent has spent his campaign attacking these very same communities. Her opponent has spoken out against women, against immigrants, against people with disabilities, against veterans, against African Americans, against Latinos, against Muslims, and against countless others throughout his campaign. And Hillary has said again and again and again, that is not who we are, and that is not what America will be. Bring me your tired, bring me your poor, bring me your huddled masses yearning to be free. Now hear me, Tampa Bay, and hear me well. This election is just a little too close to be comfortable, to sit back on the sidelines and let someone else decide what our future and our children's future will be. Each of us has an important decision to make. Do we want a candidate who has always put families and children first? Or do we want a candidate who has made it his career to always put himself before others? I think the answer is clear. Don't you agree? All right, so I'm going to ask you to do just two things for me when you leave here today. Just two. Oh, that kind of looks like victory, right? Yeah. Just two things. One, I've seen some signs today, and I love that. I voted already. But number one, go to your early vote location and cast your ballot for the first female president of these United States of America, Hillary Clinton. And two, go out and get involved. Every door you knock on, every call you make, every volunteer that you recruit gets us one giant step closer to making sure that Hillary Rodham Clinton is our next president. Thank you for having me here today. It has been a thrill, an honor, and a privilege. God bless you real good, especially on November 8th. And remember what? We are stronger together. Stronger, stronger together. Stronger together. Thank you.
pensando en un sueño, voy navegándome la vida. Hoy me regalo este nuevo día. Sí, sí, la luna siempre me guía. No siempre entiendo el presente, pero le busco la salida. Mejor estar herido que ausente, mejor soñar que echarse a la suerte. Mejor la vida cuando se siente. Si me miras, sé que me descifras. Si te miro, yo también lo haré, lo sabes bien. Este camino es como un libro abierto. Y si hoy es el último día de mi vida, vida mía, todo lo daré. Seamos uno, andemos el mundo. No hay nada que no podamos juntos. Andamos por el camino, siguiendo solo el horizonte. Llevo en mis ojos melancolía. Sí, sí, la luna siempre me guía. Yo sé que tienes otra vida, yo tengo la mía. Todos tenemos en la vida abierta alguna herida. A veces vamos por la vida buscando salidas. Mejor soñar que echarse a la suerte. Mejor la vida cuando se siente. Si me miras, sé que me descifras. Si te miro, yo también lo haré, lo sabes bien. Este camino es como un libro abierto. Y si hoy es el último día de mi vida, vida mía, todo lo daré. Seamos uno, andemos el mundo. No hay nada que no podamos juntos. Tú le das luz a mi vida. Cuando me miras, tú me iluminas. Por el resto de mis días, agua bendita para mi vida. Tú le das luz a mi vida. Cuando me miras, tú me iluminas. Por el resto de mis días. Mejor soñar que echarse a la suerte. Mejor la vida cuando se siente. Si me miras, sé que me descifras. Si te miro, yo también lo haré, lo sabes bien. Este camino es como un libro abierto. Y si hoy es el último día de mi vida, vida mía, todo lo daré. Seamos uno, andemos el mundo. No hay nada que no podamos juntos. Si me miras, sé que me descifras. Si te miro, yo también lo haré, lo sabes bien. Este camino es como un libro abierto. Y si hoy es el último día de mi vida, vida mía, todo lo daré. Seamos uno, andemos el mundo. No hay nada que no podamos juntos. Juntos. Juntos.
Woke up to a beautiful sun shining brightly in the east.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome United States Senator Bill Nelson.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today on behalf of Hillary. Florida, you know, is exceptionally important. That's why you're here. The I-4 corridor is important. I just want to tell you that you've already concluded this, but look at the assault that has been coming at this candidate, not just this year, but for years. And look who is standing tall. And if there's any question about it, how about that third debate? It's a privilege for me to be going around the state with Hillary and with Tim. The Nelson family has had the privilege of knowing the Clintons for 3 decades. And in the Senate, Tim Kaine is one of my best friends, and I can tell you, he is the real deal. And what is so instructive about Tim and was so prophetic was way back in law school, he took a year off and he went to Honduras as a Catholic missionary teaching welding to the kids. And lo and behold, and of course that year, of course, he became fluent in Spanish. Look how prophetic that was, that years later, he now goes all over America fluently speaking Spanish in this campaign. All right, I just want to ask you a couple questions, and then we're going to bring Hillary and the person who's going to introduce her up here. You know an election is a choice, and this is clearly a choice. So let's think about what we want in a president. Do you want somebody who just completely on any subject flies off the handle, or do you want somebody prepared? All right, now you know the president is the chief of state. The chief of state has to deal with about 180 countries. So do you want someone who has no clue about foreign policy, or do you want a real expert in foreign policy? Of course. Now, think about the country. Have you ever seen it divided like it is? Have you ever seen it so sharp? Have you ever seen it where politics has become a blood sport? All right, so the obvious question is, do you want a leader in America that divides us or one that unifies us? Stronger together. That's exactly right. And finally, in this campaign, what you've seen, which is just unbelievable, we've got to have a president that does indeed bring us together. So would that person be someone who goes around and constantly insults everybody else? Or is it someone who respects the other person, constantly reaching out them, that treats them as you would want to be treated? That is what we want in a president. And I think what I see all over Florida, it's coming together. And on 2 weeks, the night of November the 8th, I think we're going to be singing "Happy Days Are Here Again." God bless you.
Please welcome to the stage Spanish-American immigrant and humanitarian chef Jose Andres.
Hola! Anybody speaks Spanish here? Uh-oh, I forgot the mic. Let me do this because it's windy. Oh, yeah. Well, people of America, people of Florida, my name is Jose Andres, and I am an immigrant. Oh yeah, you can clap. 3 Novembers ago, after 21 years in my new country, my wife and I became American citizens. We raised our hands, we took the oath of citizenship, and we cried from happiness. This November, I will cast my first vote for the next president of the United States of America. I cannot tell you, many of you know, but none of us can quite capture it in words, how proud I will be to cast my ballot as an American citizen. We immigrants, we were not lucky enough to be born Americans. It wasn't just given to us. Immigrants like me, like many of you, we had to leave the land of our birth for it. Immigrants like me, we had to work hard for it. Immigrants like me, we had to wait for it. We had to really want it to become American. Oh yeah. And so we love America in a very, very, very special way. We love this country where we were born. But we love the country now we call home. Immigrants like me, we know where we come from, but we know where we belong. And I want you to tell you today why I love America. Why America is great to me. Some people actually, let's be fair, someone talks about making America great again. Me, what? Who are you? Where you come from? Where have you been? Look around you. Maybe he skipped U.S. history class. I don't know. But people of Tampa, America has always been great from the very beginning. And I want to tell you why. In a way, an immigrant feels deep inside their hearts. Immigrants like me, many immigrants like you, we understand better than most that to be American is a privilege that conveys not only rights, but responsibilities. And our responsibility, my responsibility, is to speak up. The history of this country, the history of this election, is not a fight between Republicans and Democrats, red states and blue states, rich people and poor people, workers and employers, the right against the left and the left against the right. No, it's not about that. We are all Americans, and we are stronger together. This election is a battle between two forces, the forces of inclusion and the forces of exclusion. The forces of exclusion include hatred, and envy, and anger, and suspicion and division. These forces build barriers, and borders, and barricades. They promote conflict, inequality, violence, dislocation, and war. They promote inequality. Sometimes, those forces, they only care about making money. Not like it's a bad thing, believe me. No matter how many workers they abuse, they don't care. Or how many small businesses they steal, but not paying them what is rightfully theirs. And even some that they claim they want to make America great again, they don't even pay their due tax that they are supposed to be doing. Those forces of exclusion, they put up walls. But the forces of inclusion, my friends, they include love and welcome and hospitality and unity and harmony and belonging. Those forces break down barriers and bring people together because we, again, are stronger together. These forces of inclusion, they promote cooperation, unity, community, prosperity, and happiness. These two forces change people. If you are at a rally like this one, or maybe watching a speech on TV, Even if you cannot hear the words, you can tell the kind of speech by the emotions in the crowd. If people are tense and angry, they are hearing a speech of exclusion. If people are open and happy, like we are here right now, they are hearing a speech of inclusion. And we all know who we think believes in exclusion. And that's not the America I wanted to be part of. But I know who has fought hard all her life, believing that inclusion will make us all better. I have been lucky enough to travel to many corners of the world. And the happiest places I've been are the places where people live with their arms wide open. And I try to be that person. And I'm a cook. Inclusion is how I make a living. I feed the few, but my dream is to feed the many. I wanted everybody to come eat my food. You and you and you. Maybe not you. I'm kidding. Okay. I want everybody all seated at the same table. Republicans and Democrats and Independents. All of us. Please, pass the salsa. The more people we can include, the happier we are. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't think I'm doing anything special by trying to believe in inclusion. We are only sharing the gift that God is giving us. I only want to include others because America includes me and many of my Hispanic Latino brothers from the very beginning. And this is the America I love. The America that Hillary Clinton has worked hard all of her life without even losing a pinch of enthusiasm. I love this country. And I have tried to give back to this country for everything it has given me. A few years ago, my friends, I had a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant. Yeah, no rappies. Great Mexican working hard people. And the restaurant was not doing so well. And the lawyers told me, to me and my partners, that maybe we should file for bankruptcy. Chapter 11, it's legal. But we didn't do that. We didn't want to do that to our workers. We didn't want to do that to the people we owe money to. I wanted to take the high road. Why? Because when they go low, we know what Obama says. So we did. We moved the restaurant forward. We took some losses. We moved the location. And today, my friends, 14 years later, Oyamel is thriving and serving tacos as many corners of America as we can. So today I could be in a certain hotel in Washington, D.C., opening a restaurant inside. But here I am, not even mentioning him, because we are not supposed to mention him until he doesn't apologize to every Latino, to every Mexican, to every woman, to every veteran, and to any person that he has insulted. But I will tell you, people, I would rather be here with you in Tampa today and support this amazing woman on her birthday day. Are we going to sing after to her again, after the mayor? First, used to start ending. I came to America in 1989. I was a cook in the Spanish Navy. And my ship, believe it or not, anchored here in Tampa, not too far away from where we are. I love Tampa. So this is as close as homecoming for me. From my mast, I could see the American flags from the nearby ships. At night, under the stars, I would often wonder if there were the explanations for the stars on the American flag. Put there so the world will know that this is a place of infinite possibilities where anyone from anywhere can strive for a better life. And I dream of coming back here to be part of everything I saw. I knew I had found a new place to belong. And the feeling of belonging made me responsible to speak up for those who are still searching for their place to belong. There are 11 million undocumented immigrants in our country. Many are right here in front of us, working hard to maintain our quality of life. They are not so different from us. We are all immigrants at some point in our family past, trying to find a place to belong. Immigration reform is not a problem for us to solve. It's opportunity for us to seize. And I know that Hillary Clinton is going to help us seize that opportunity. This is the magic of America, people. This is what I love about this country, our country, the country my 3 daughters call home. So some tell me I'm on the losing side. The society is moving towards exclusion. But let me tell you why I'm so optimistic for America. Yes, our country is torn between the desire to include and exclude. But let me tell you, let's elect a leader who knows everybody belongs. Let's elect a leader who knows everybody deserves a chance. Let's elect a leader that knows that everybody has something to give. Let's elect a leader who has fought hard for inclusion her whole life. A leader who has fought for the poor and for the weak. And a leader who has fought for the sick and the old. A leader who will fight for every immigrant looking for a place to belong. Let's elect someone who not only supports the forces of inclusion, let's elect someone who has proof with her whole life that she is a force of inclusion. People of America, people of Tampa, let me introduce you the honor to bring to the stage the next President of the United States of America, Hillary Rodham Clinton. God bless you.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, oh baby, there ain't no mountain high enough.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, thank you all. What a great way to celebrate my birthday, being here in Tampa. I am so grateful to Jose for that wonderful introduction. He's an incredibly talented chef, but more than that, I have to say he's a humanitarian. He just came back from Haiti once again, where he goes periodically to help feed people. He's been doing it ever since the terrible earthquake, going to help people in remote villages. And he does that all over the world when it comes to making sure that there are clean cook stoves so that people can cook, primarily women and children, without fear of getting sick from inhaling all the smoke. I enlisted Jose's help when I was Secretary of State on the Clean Cook Stoves Initiative. And as you heard, he's also a proud immigrant. And he is standing up to Donald Trump's anti-immigrant rhetoric. And he's doing it in a very courageous way because he sacrificed his business. He'd been asked by the Trump organization to put a restaurant into the new hotel that
Trump was talking about on TV today in Washington, and after Jose heard the kinds of things that Donald Trump was saying about immigrants, he said, no, I refuse to open a restaurant in that hotel. That is really gutsy. And today was a perfect time to have Jose be with us because, as I said, Donald Trump is taking time off the campaign trail to officially open the hotel. And yesterday here in Florida, he took time out to invite the press to listen to his employees talk about what a great boss he is while he was watching and listening to them. And today, in opening that hotel, I think it's important to note that he once again relied on undocumented workers. The same people he has been insulting and demonizing throughout this campaign. So, like with so much else that Donald Trump says, he says one thing and then he does something different. Many of the products in the hotel were made overseas rather than here in the United States, and he even sued the District of Columbia to pay lower taxes. That is the way that he does business. Now, we've actually learned in this campaign that Donald Trump is the poster boy for everything wrong with our economy. He refuses to pay workers and contractors from Atlantic City to Miami to Las Vegas. He stiffs small businesses. I take that one personally because my dad was a small businessman. And I've met so many people who did projects for Donald Trump. You know, provided pianos for one of his casinos, installed drapes for one of his hotels, laid the marble, put in the glass, washed the dishes, painted, and then weren't paid. I just think that is fundamentally wrong. And that is not the kind of experience we need in the Oval Office. So I'm grateful to Jose, and I want to thank everyone else. My great friend, your United States Senator, Bill Nelson, Congresswoman Kathy Castor, Mayor Bob Buckhorn, who's here with his two daughters, Governor Charlie Crist, soon to be Congressman Charlie Crist. I have to say we've got two great candidates here, David Singer, candidate for the House of Representatives, and Rena Frazier, another candidate. And we have the great talent of Angela Bassett with us today. So, my friends, here's the advice that I got. It is a beautiful day in Tampa, but it's warm. And some of you have been here a while, right? And I'm watching the flags. So long as they're waving, I know there's a breeze. If they stop waving, I'm really going to cut this short. But let me start by thanking you for being here. And thank you. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you, if I ever need a, pickup, I'm coming back to Tampa, Mayor. And, with 13 days left in this election, we cannot stop for a minute. No complacency here. Nobody flagging. We've got to get everybody out to vote. And I hope, in addition to the people that I've mentioned, someone who's not here, I hope you will support. That is Congressman Patrick Murphy, to send him to the United States Senate. I think you'll be pleased because he's an independent voice. He's a problem solver. He believes in comprehensive immigration reform. He has stood with Planned Parenthood against the attacks that it has suffered. He's even brought Democrats and Republicans together to try to protect our environment and fund Everglades restoration. He'll stand up to the gun lobby and advocate for common sense gun safety measures. He'll defend Social Security and Medicare, not cutting or privatizing those two essential programs. So please, do your best to make sure we send Patrick Murphy to the Senate. Now, I got to ask you, anybody see the last debate? You know, I have now stood next to Donald Trump for 4.5 hours, proving conclusively I have the stamina to do the job. And every time he says one of those outrageous things that he does have he does have a way of saying, I just keep remembering Michelle Obama's words, when he goes low, we go high. But I got to say, he said something in the last debate we've never heard from anybody running for president. He basically said that he's not sure. He refused to say that he would respect the results of the election. Now, this is a guy who said the Emmys were rigged, so you can't really take what he says, very seriously. But this is a problem because the first thing a president does at noon on January 20th is to take an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. And if you are casting doubts, you want to keep people in suspense as to whether you will respect the outcome of an election, that is contrary to who we are as Americans. We have our elections. We've had them from George Washington forward. We're going to keep having them and show what a democracy looks like to the rest of the world. I believe strongly that the American people are going to reject this dark, divisive vision of America. And it's happening, my friends. We have reached a milestone. More than 200 million Americans are registered to vote. That's the biggest number ever. And that number includes 50 million young people. And you know what else? More than 10 million people have already voted, including 2 million right here in Florida. I'm hearing some great stories from people. Let me just tell you one. It's about Stephen from St. Augustine. He's been fighting a rare form of leukemia and heart disease. He's been in and out of the hospitals 12 times in the last 2 years. But he knows how important his vote is. So I heard yesterday he ditched his oxygen tank, which I would not have recommended, clung to his walker, stood in line so he could cast his vote for a better America. And if Stephen can do that, nobody has any excuses. And I think this extends not just to Democrats, but to Republicans and independents. And I am proud to have support from Republicans and independents here across Florida and across America who agree with me that we should reject hate and division. We have seen Donald Trump insult nearly every person in America, and I just find that so intolerable because look at this diverse crowd. Look at Tampa. It's a cosmopolitan city. Florida is paving the way for what our country will look like, and we need to be lifting each other up, listening to each other, respecting each other, not sowing seeds of hatred and bigotry. And I think one of my biggest jobs after this election will be bringing our country together, and I'm going to need your help. Here, we're going to get the economy working for everybody, not just people at the top with new jobs and infrastructure. That rail, that system, Bob, that you want, we're going to get it because it would help you so much. Think of the people we'd put to work. Technology, innovation, research, advanced manufacturing, and yes, small business. I want to be the best small business president you can have to help people start and grow their businesses. But we're also going to make America the clean energy superpower of the 21st century. I know we can create millions of jobs and we can protect Florida, especially coastal Florida, and we can protect our planet at the same time. You know, you're already seeing the results of climate change here in Florida. You know, I was just in Miami, and they actually have flooding on sunny days with no rain. People are calling 311 because they think a water main broke, but it's the oceans rising. So I know there is no state that could benefit more from a clean energy agenda than Florida. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're also going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. If your family makes less than $125,000, which is most families in America, you're not going to have to pay a penny to go to a public college or university. If your family makes more than that, you're not going to have to go into debt. Pay what you can afford, and then we're going to make sure you can go without getting a big debt, because that drags people down. And for people who already have debt, we are going to help you refinance it and pay it off. And I want to say something to all of the teachers and educators. I want to work with you and be a good partner with you. And I think there should be more than one way, more than just a four-year college degree to get a good job with a good middle-class life for you and your families. So let's invest in more technical education in high school, in our community colleges. Let's have more apprenticeship programs, labor and business together. But while we grow the economy, let's make it fairer. We need to raise the national minimum wage so that people who work full-time aren't left in poverty. You know, I got to tell you, I was raised to believe in hard work. My grandfather was a factory worker. My dad had a small business. And we really believe you got to work for what you get in life, right? But if you're working, you shouldn't be at the point where you cannot even afford food or clothes or rent at the end of the year. And isn't it finally time to guarantee equal pay for women's work? You know, this is not just a women's issue. This is a family issue. If you've got a mother, a wife, a sister, or a daughter working, it's your issue. And unlike my opponent, we're going to ask the wealthy, the millionaires and billionaires, to pay their fair share, because we're going to close the loopholes and make sure no multimillionaire ever pays a lower tax rate than a nurse or a teacher or a police officer or a firefighter. And I will not raise taxes on anyone making less than $250,000 a year. So when you go to the polls, vote to grow the economy, more jobs with rising incomes. Vote to make the economy fairer. And compare that with what my opponent has proposed. He really believes if you give trillions, that's trillions with a T, trillions in tax cuts to the wealthy, millionaires, billionaires, big corporations, everything will trickle down. Now, we know that doesn't work. We've seen it. And it's pretty rich coming from a guy who claims to be so rich who hasn't paid a dime in federal income taxes in 20 years. He says not paying taxes makes him smart. Well, I don't know how smart you have to be to lose $1 billion in 1 year. And besides, what kind of genius loses money running a casino, for heaven's sakes? Actually, it sounds like a few people have been at casinos here. But you know, this means he's contributed zero. Okay? He actually has the gall to call our military a disaster. Not only is he wrong, but what right does he have to say that? He hasn't contributed a penny to our military. Not a penny to our veterans. Not a penny to health care or education. Not a penny to highways or infrastructure. This is a false charge that he makes about all the problems in our country. And I'll tell you something, we did a little research. He's been denigrating America for decades. If this didn't start with his birther lie against President Obama, it didn't even start running against me. Back in 1987, he took out a $100,000 ad in the New York Times criticizing President Reagan. He said our leaders were the laughingstock of the world. So this is a guy who criticizes everybody but himself. And at some point, you got to say, wait a minute, we're better than that. We are stronger than that. We want to move forward into the future with confidence and optimism. And that's what we're offering in this campaign. I got to tell you, it is not just what we're against that should motivate you to go to the polls, it's what we are for. And I believe strongly that what we're for will make it possible for all of us, and especially our kids and our grandkids, to have the best future. America's best days can still be ahead of us. But we can't make any of this happen if we don't have you voting. Now, Donald Trump says he can still win, and he's right. That's why it's so important everyone gets out and votes. And here in Florida, you know, in a lot of places you can only vote on Election Day. But here in Florida, voting couldn't be easier. Early voting began on Monday. In South Florida, it goes through Sunday, November 6th, around the state. You can go to any early voting site between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. In fact, the county center on East Kennedy Boulevard is just a 10-minute walk from here. You can go vote right after this event, and we'll have staff ready to help you get there. And you can go to iwillvote.com to confirm your polling place and make a plan to vote. But I also hope you will volunteer these last 2 weeks. We're reaching out to everybody, so go to hillaryclinton.com and sign up to volunteer. Take out your phone and text JOIN, and that is 47246. We can use you. We're making millions of phone calls in Florida. We're knocking on, maybe by the time we finish, millions of doors. We don't want anybody to be left out or left behind, because on January 20th, America will have a new president. Now, I got to say, to you that, you know, change is inevitable in life, right? And so the real question is, what kind of change are we going to have? And I want you to talk to anybody you know who's either thinking of not voting or maybe thinking of voting for my opponent. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. You know, after this election, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, we're going to reach out to everybody, right? And ask the people you're talking to what kind of change they really want, because I don't think most Americans want the kind of divisive and dark change Donald Trump is offering. Mass deportations that will rip families apart, a repeal of gun-free school zones on day one, going back to the day when insurance companies could discriminate against us if we have a pre-existing condition, letting Wall Street write its own rules, denying the science of climate change, rolling back marriage equality, defunding Planned Parenthood. the hugest tax breaks ever for the wealthy, and abroad, abandoning our alliances and allowing more countries to get nuclear weapons. Now, that may be change, but boy, that's not the change we need. And my vision is different. It's more hopeful, optimistic, and unifying. I want us to be a country where every student can afford to go to college if that's what you choose. I want us to be a country where millions of people are working in good, high-paying jobs and in new industries like clean energy and advanced manufacturing. I want us to be a country where hard-working immigrants who pay taxes, and by the way, 1/2 of undocumented workers pay federal income taxes, which means they are paying more federal income taxes than Donald Trump paid. And a country where we not only have equal pay for our work, but affordable child care, where we're respected in the world, working with our allies to defeat terrorism and stop the spread of nuclear weapons. So yes, change is coming. The choice is yours about what kind of change we'll have, and I hope you will choose to be part of this campaign, because it's not just about winning on November 8th, as important as that is. It is about getting to work, because I do believe we are stronger together. Tim Kaine and I wrote a book laying out our agenda, because I think you deserve to know what I will try to do as your president. So if you will help, we will come together to give every American the chance to chart your own future and contribute to our great country. Let's prove once and for all that love trumps hate. Thank you.
Ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby. Oh, baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby. Oh, baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me